Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Okay, ladies, listen up. We are talking to you, and especially if you're a woman that really wants to make a mark in your life professionally, personally, really move your life forward. And I feel there's a new resurgence for women now. Maybe it's coming out of COVID where it's like, yeah, now it's me time. It's go time, and I want to move forward. Well, the art of womanliness is basically an oasis where as a woman, you can find resources, encouragement, and even some coaching to move your life forward. And she's all part of it. She is Kaitlyn Andrews, and she's with us. Welcome. How you doing, Kaitlyn?
I'm doing so well. How are you today, Stephen?
Doing well, doing very well. And I'm glad we're here talking about what you can offer because I don't think there's enough resources for women that really want to change their lives. I mean, a lot of times they don't know where to turn. You know, if they can turn to a friend, maybe an organization. But let's talk about some of those things that you do offer women.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Steve. I help women first and foremost gather that which will make them stronger. Then I help them nurture and cultivate relationships, and then also help them refine their beauty and their confidence. So these are the things that I really love to build out for women. I really love the opportunities that we have to bring in to center ourselves first, and then to be able to go forward and not only build a relationship with ourselves, but with others that we really value. And that can be in any situation, anything from careers to home to in-laws to the person at your church, or just even that you drive to the carpool with. So yeah, and then from there, I really believe that women desire to be beautiful. I think it's one of our most intimate questions is, am I beautiful? And I think that first and foremost needs to be answered in herself. And so I help women develop that as well as to share that beauty. And beauty is so much more than I ever thought it would be. And then confidence isn't just something that you're born with, it's something that you can cultivate. And so I also teach women how to be confident no matter where they are.
I was just going to go there in terms of confidence. I want to talk about relationships in a little bit, but when it comes to confidence, is that still, I don't know, a lot guys and women, we all struggle with it, but do you find that there's a major lack of confidence among the women that you work with?
Most definitely. There's this one woman I'm working with right now. She came to me and she said, I'm such the problem. I'm the issue. I don't even know what I want out of life anymore. And she was really struggling with everything, every aspect. And then when she has been taking coaching sessions from me, she's been able to dive deep and build from the inside out. And then we've been able to build a life. She's able to come with questions about her daily life and daily interactions. She's like, I'm more confident. I know when I need things now. I know how to maintain my life. I know how to discover what it is that will bring me more joy. And then I'm able to communicate more effectively now because I know who I am and I lead from there. And so confidence is so much more than just, hey, I'm present. It's, I am willing to shape the world around me in that vulnerableness of come what may. I'm going to step up and be that person that I know I can be.
You know, a lot of times we hear boundaries. Got to set those boundaries, self-care boundaries. But
Yeah,
as we're talking right now, Kaitlyn, a lot of women wouldn't be able to do that unless they have that confidence because the boundary is no, I'm going to say no, I can't do that. If you're not confident, you're not going to be comfortable in putting up the boundaries. So it's like the chicken or the egg. You got to start here. Confidence is kind of everything, and then you can work on the other areas.
definitely. Thank you so much for saying that because I myself have tried the stop, don't talk to me. I'm trying to create boundaries. And I have seen a huge decrease in my life of actual prosperity and flourishing. The thing is that I think first we have to first understand what we're capable of and know our own worth for ourselves. And then we won't let somebody just walk in and hurt us or talk to us poorly. We'll just say like, wow, hey, I see you. That's rough. How are you? and then it's not offensive. It's just situational presence.
Right.
And so there's a certain level of which when you personally are strong, and that doesn't need to be hear me roar, even though there is a place for that. It's not necessarily that. It's like, okay, I am secure. I have peace in my center, and I lead from that, and I expand out to reach and to come back in, to reach and to come back in. I'm not needed everywhere, and I'm accepting and loving, and I'm present. It's actually what I call the kind, wise, strong, and compassionate self. It's where you lead from a place of strength,
Hmm.
and you trust God in all of it. I firmly believe that He's my center.
Yeah. And, if whether you trust God or not, I believe, and I do, but there's also a universe. There's a lot out there that supports you as well. Interesting what you just said in terms of being kind, loving, but still strong. And I think of different women that I've worked with. And, if I put them in different categories, there would be one here. She was very strong. If she liked you, you're good. If she didn't like you, bad. And I don't, I'm not a fan of that. Everybody should be treated equally. And then I would think of somebody over here, and they both worked in the same company, by the way. This person over here is caring, loving. She might not be as successful as that person, but she's more respected. It's a delicate balance, is where I'm going with that.
Oh, definitely. I do think that strong looks different for women. And I do think that we're sacrificing so much in the name of go get them, that we're losing a lot of the incredible depth that can come when we say, I am here, I am going to give, I'm also going to reserve, I'm also going to share my thoughts in a way that's going to support. I'm also going to be strong in the sense that I'm not going to be moved. I'm not going to just give up. I am going to persevere. And when I persevere, I am going to make sure that I'm doing my very best. And what does that look like? And I'm telling you, ladies, it looks different every single day. I don't know about you, but I'm always changing. And that comes just from being a woman. Yes, we go through a menstrual cycle that goes and changes throughout the whole month. But then there's also the physical change, the seasonal changes, the different demands that we face. And so strong is going to look different every day of your life. And I think being willing to walk up to that and say, what is my strength that I can give today? And then to give it.
Mm.
Because you don't want to leave anything on the table. You don't want to just walk away and say, wow, that was a crappy day. Great. But mostly it's a crappy day because you didn't feel completed by it. And so walking up and saying, okay, what can I give? Assessing. I teach that. I teach how you can assess your current day and what you can give, and then to motivate yourself to do it. Because I do think that that's half the battle again, is learning how to motivate yourself to get done what needs to be done.
Well,
So,
I'm just going to jump in here right now, Caitlin, and say then I must have a menstrual cycle because I'm I go like that too, where the day could start, and it did. Honestly, today started like kind of down here, just getting motivated, moving it along, and then here, and I feel like I'm here right now with you. Um, and Billy Joel song popped in my head. I go to extremes. I think we all do. So it can be like this. Maybe it's every other day or whatever, but that is life. Would you say that for you that you realized that you experience more, you realize more, you're in touch more when you had sort of an awakening? Were you
oh
living,
my
were
goodness.
you living life like this, like robotic, okay, great, everything's great, whatever, or just it's like that, but then all of a sudden something happened, something shook up your life, whatever it might be. And then it's like, oh, I feel like I'm present, living, that doesn't mean it's always like, woo, fantastic, but
Right. Right.
but you feel there it is, you feel. Was there
Yeah.
a pivotal moment that you realize that?
Wow. That's what a great question, Steve. Wow.
It was for me. That's where that came from, by the way. That's where that came from.
First and foremost, thank you. I mean, isn't everybody's journey just so personal? I feel like we're all growing. And so the fact that you even kept going today, the fact that you showed up for yourself, I mean, the fact that you continue to go and say, hey, I'm going to give my best, even if it's not where I could be. I think that shows a lot about you, Steve. So I just want to say that.
Thanks. I try, and got a teenage daughter too, so it's always it's every day's a new day all along. But
Right.
would you share that moment for you? What
Yeah.
pick it up?
Oh my goodness. Yes. Okay. So I've grown up in a home that was not the best. I think we can all relate in many different ways. Mostly it was emotionally and mentally abusive. And I've worked through a lot of it. I'm still trying to uncover what I went through. The majority of it I've had to just let go and forgive. Yet there was a moment in my life where I just had my second child. There's so much pressure around motherhood. There's so much pressure around career, and I had already graduated with a bachelor's in science, and I feel like I was doing good. I was doing every checkpoint that I had ever been taught, and yet I was miserable. I was beyond functioning. I had issues with panic attacks up to 4 times a week. I was I was barely getting by. I couldn't even sleep at night. I was so fatigued and I felt entirely lost. I definitely struggled with personal image. I would avoid myself in the mirror because I couldn't even believe that that was me looking back at me, because I was not even anything like I remember growing up. Even though growing up was hard, I mean, we all struggle with body image issues. We all struggle with confidence and identity and who am I and who I want to be. And I feel like marriage just threw a whole new wrench in that. How do I build a good marriage? I wasn't shown it. How do I build a good motherhood? My mom and me have a very complicated relationship. So I think I was asking myself a lot of questions. And as my two little babies were crying in their cribs, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I can't. I can't keep going on less than nothing. And I would sit there and cry into my bedroom, and I put my head up against my wall, and something just hit me. It was like, there has to be more. There just has to be, because this life sucks. Everything about this is horrible and rude, and I'm forsaken. And at the time, my husband had gone to a military training for 8 months. And so I felt abandoned. And it was literally just me, and I hated it. I hated who I was. I hated everything about myself. And so that glimmer of hope of there has to be more is because I literally was nothing. I felt nothing. I felt pain, but I didn't feel anything about myself. There was nothing there.
You were numb.
Yeah. And oh yeah, so numb. And it was, I'm so grateful for that moment, because oftentimes we can look back and say, well, yeah, that still sucks. But I am so grateful that I hit that point in my life, because I actually ended up finding solutions. I ended up finding a way to work through the trauma, to work through the grief, to work through the pain. So much so that even 3 or 4 years down the road, my own personal best friend and little sis passed away.
Mm.
And I have seen so much growth even since then. Like, I was able to face the fact that God has a plan for my life. And I was able to face that I can continue to grow, regardless on what challenges I need to face. And I'm like, life is full of them. And so I might as well embrace that I'm imperfect, embrace that it's going to look messy, and then to lean in and be refined by life instead of burned by it. And that's really where it's all began. It began with my own, what do I do with all of this? My marriage, my motherhood, me, because I didn't know who that was. And then I worked my way up this sheer cliff inside of my mind to get off of all the terrible that my life had brought me up to that point. All the memories, all the pain. And I just remember thinking, I don't need to live here anymore. I need to get out. And so I did. I started a program for women that someone else had done. It was like a 30-day mommy makeover something. And I was like, I can do 30 days. And then from there, I just built and continued building and continued finding. And I have gathered all of that to create the I Am Captivating program that I mentor women with. So, yeah.
Yeah, that is, you know what? Thank you for your honesty. And you walk the walk. You talk the talk. You get it. And that's how you can. I don't think you could help women as effectively if you didn't live it and go through it. And when you're at your lowest point, like down here, that's when you're most humble to receive things. How do I know? Because somebody told me that when I was going through, something major a while back. And it resonated. And it's like, what? Don't you understand what's going on? What? And there's like, oh, okay. And then you're open to it. And, you said that there's a plan. I firmly believe that. Whoever made that plan up, there's a plan out there. If you ever want to Google lyrics to a song, Dan Fogelberg, big music guy, in the 70s and early 80s, since passed on, there's a song called Part of the Plan. And if you look at the lyrics, part of it is, someday we'll all know, someday we'll all know. But it kind of is in line with, if you think there's a plan, it says it right there. So good for you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Moving forward.
I also do think that regardless on whatever comes, you can choose what you do with it, right? Like I could be in a little ball on the floor still, and there's no shame in that. Having passed through grief, abandonment issues, still not having good relationships with my parents, things like that, I could still be in a ball and say,
Oh, yeah.
and completely justifiably so. And so I think taking your life and saying, well, who do I want to be? What is possible for my life? I think those are just powerful questions because I think the moment we step into possible, we kind of step into creation. We step into this ability to say, here's more to me. There's more.
But you know what? It's so true because anything is possible. Think about that. Anything is really possible. I know it sounds kind of geeky and like, woo woo, but it really is the truth. And when people say like, I don't have a choice, yeah, you do. You can make a choice. That's the beauty of life. You can make choices and pivot different ways and pivot in a positive direction and keep moving your life forward. It is truly possible. So when you work with somebody, where does it begin? What's
Oh,
obviously, go to your website, theartofwomanliness.com, but then is it a free discovery call? You kind of figure things out. How do you decide what somebody needs at that moment?
that's a very good question. So right now, I currently have a 12-week program. I lay it all out. And if that's something that you're like, yes, I really want to work, what I do is I do clarity calls. I see if I am going to be a good fit for you. Um, Also, there's just a complete sign up where you get to work with me for 12 weeks and it's all in one combined price. So you get 12 coaching sessions. And then right now, you get a self-guided kind of build out with a workbook. And you basically take yourself according to how you feel ready. Because I do think that progress isn't linear. And I also believe that who we become is it's so personal. And so I coach women to help where they want to go. I don't want you to be me. I want you to be you. I want you to be the best, incredible version of you. I actually really like this quote from the Kung Fu Panda movies. It's like, I'm not trying to teach you to be me. I'm trying to teach you to be you. And the whole point is that each one of us has such beautiful strengths and we have beautiful talents and things that make us uniquely beautiful, even in our own skin, our face shapes, our body shapes. And I'm ready to kind of revolutionize the way that beauty even portrayed. I'm ready to show you that there's so much more to beauty than just your body, that you are beautiful. You create beauty. You bring beauty to life. Also, it's the way that you speak. It's the way that you behave. It's the way that you share joy and light and strength in your life. And beauty is so much more than just how you look. I could tell you now, if men were to see many women lined up, they could tell instantly who has the goodness and the light in them because of the beauty that shines in their eyes. And I firmly believe that.
Totally
It
agree.
just shows, you know?
And, as a single guy, when I meet a woman, I don't look at anything except this. I know it sounds like BS, being honest right there. It's this, and then the rest follows because you feel the beauty. And beauty comes in all different forms. Like you could talk to somebody, even in a business setting, a week later, and they remembered something about you. And it's almost you want to say, that's beautiful. Like, why did you remember something from a conversation? Like you said, beauty comes in all different forms. It's all, I wish we could take this and throw these out.
Right.
They serve
I
a
think I
purpose,
think
but
that there's a certain level to them though, right?
oh yeah, but when it comes to social media and holding yourself to certain standards, and I got to look this way and I got to look that way, and especially teen girls where, it's 50 pictures trying to get that one shot that looks like somebody else you've seen in a social media feed, be it TikTok or Snap or whatever. Uh, Hello, there was lights, there's, there's so much going on in
Yeah.
our culture. But we don't see that. We see what we want to see.
Yeah, also, I mean, I've been that girl. Haven't we all wanted to search for that one image that's just going to represent us so well? And yet I'm like, having now lost my sister, let me tell you that one image doesn't convey at all the incredibleness that she was to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're just shadows or half of her. And I'm like, the person that you are is vibrant and beautiful. And you first need to know for yourself that you're beautiful, because I'm telling you, the internet won't tell you.
Yeah.
Um, and what's so cool is that once you find it, no one can take it from you. And that's also what I love about it, is that no one can touch the my own personal worth now. I know it for myself. And so I think that we're all searching. I think we're all searching for that approval, that beauty, that I am worthy feeling, and I'm also beautiful, and I want to know it. And yet sometimes we get so lost in the maze that we feel like, oh, well, I already found it, but then we always feel empty at the end of the day. And something that I found, that for me anyway, is that I'm not empty. I find that I'm so full of good, happy light that just seems to expand. And I find that I'm so peaceful, and I find that I'm able to control my temper better, or that I'm more patient, or that the words come on how I should speak and how I should explain things, or work with my children, or work with my husband. And am I perfect? Oh my goodness. I'm so grateful to not be perfect. I actually love that I can lean in and keep trying. I think that we're imperfect for a reason. I think that if we were perfect, then we wouldn't have anything really to do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a part of this life. It's a part of growing.
It's it's amazing when you find that this aligns with what you're doing, and it seems that you found it, like your purpose in that, um, because it
Yeah,
emanates, and you find the beauty in a lot of things. Where if you go through life and you're disconnected from things because you're just robotically moving along, you don't see those things. You don't see those great things out there, and the beauty in other people.
right. Yeah, I think we first got to give permission to ourselves as women to be strong, to be beautiful, to be feminine, uh, because we automatically invite a space for humanity to grow. I think that, like Mother Earth, we are cultivators. And like, if you think about it, Mother Earth, anything that you put inside of the earth, it will grow.
Bro.
And what's so cool about it is that a peach tree doesn't have to be a palm tree, and they look so different. And what's so cool is that they're coming from the same earth. And I feel like as women, as we live more true to who we are, the fundamentals of gathering that which will make us stronger, nurture in all aspects of our lives, and being able to cultivate those lasting relationships that really ultimately bring us joy. And then lastly, to refine. We have such a capacity to be life givers and life guiders. We have a capacity to see the need intuitively, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, see the person and love them where they're at. We are also a safe place for man and home and family and children. And I'm so ready to not only find strength in that, but then also to like show our children what is possible. And that refining comes through understanding our beauty, understanding our confidence, and then building from there. And I truly believe that as we flourish, as we continue to expand from the inside out, we outwardly express a place of a sanctuary of life for all of humanity. And it doesn't matter what you believe or where you're from or what you're up against in your life. I personally want to be a woman that makes a safe place for you and a safe place for me, and that we can both grow. That's ultimately where I see womanhood going.
Yeah, well, you have a great goal there. And even starting, we talk about teens, teen girls. Socially, there's challenges there now. So thankfully, you're moving forward. Take that flag and run up the hill right now. We got to do that. We're just about out of time. Theartofwomanliness.com is your website. Free conversation to start things off. Is that how it works? Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Also, just take a look around. Seriously, there are so many beautiful things just waiting for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So start there and you're going to find so many great things.
Yeah. And you know what? Also live in the present. Because so many, that's where I don't want to say I went wrong, but a couple of years ago on my journey, I met somebody who said to me, "Why don't you live in the present?" And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, because I was marinating the past and then the future, thinking about that. What do? You worry when you think of those things. You worry what's going to happen. This happened back there instead of the now. And when you're in the now, then it changes. Like you just walk into Starbucks and you look at somebody and you smile, just like and you connect with people. You never see them again, but it felt good for that one moment. Or somebody asks for directions.
Right.
Instead of being like not there, you help them. And it feels, even that 1 second feels really good. As it did talking to you, Kaitlyn. It really, really did. Yeah. And I appreciate your honesty with everything. And that's how you can help people, as you've gone through it. So again, theartofwomanliness.com is the website. And I look forward next time we get a chance to talk.
Thank you so much. Yes. And if also they want to email me personally, hello@theartofwomanliness.com is also like a direct link straight to me. So if that's what they would like, I would love to reach out and talk to them. And I'm so excited that whoever's listening that desires more light, goodness, beauty, and refinement in their life to become who they're supposed to be. I'm so excited to talk with you.
Yeah, I love it. If you're feeling unfulfilled, many of us are, start the conversation, at least start talking and then go from there. All right. Looking forward next time we get a chance to talk. Thank you so much.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.